What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode of the DeAgostini Millennium Falcon from Fanhome, and a bit of a deviation from what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Now, we have been doing a lot of painting, and kind of looking ahead, I've had access to all of the PDFs for all of the instructions, and I was getting kind of curious to see when we're going to start putting on the rest of the greeblies and all of that, because I kind of want to paint it all at once. And in doing my research, I've kind of seen that we can kind of stop doing our painting right now. But I'm not going to take that approach. And the reason why we don't need to do our painting right now is simply because I kind of want to do some color matching and make sure when I'm doing the weathering that the weathering all winds up being pretty equal across the board and not done at different times. And so I've had to think. And in all of this, I realized because of that, I want to take the following approach to the model. Now, I do have a set of decals on their way. I picked them up from a seller on Etsy who's only got like one set left now at this point. And these are basically the perfect grade Falcon, Millennium Falcon decals, but blown up and cleaned up, and they did a really nice job of creating these decals for the DeAgostini Falcon in 43rd scale. And so basically, I want to, for this next phase, finish getting the rest of our color on, and then go ahead and basically work on getting the decals put on. And then once the decals are on, we're going to go ahead and seal it up and get ready for the weathering phase, which will happen after we complete the top of the hull, because we're not going to be taking all 50 stages to be finishing the top of the hull as we did with this first portion of the model. Basically, I think it's by stage 68, 70, somewhere in that neighborhood. We'll be done with the top of the hull, and we'll start to get some of the side pieces to kind of bridge it up, because I basically want to get this all painted and get the base colors down. So basically get our AS20, the insignia white, and then get our rust red, and then our 3 gray colors on, and then our 2 yellow colors, or 2 brown yellow colors. I want to basically get them all on there, and then get our decals put on, seal the model up, and then with a clear coat, and then go ahead and get ready for assembly, and basically tackle all of the weathering all at once and all of the rest of the paint all at once, as I want the consistency, as I said, to be on point. I don't want to be having some parts of the model that were weathered at different times and at different skill levels, and I'm going to continue to be working on the perfect grade Falcon going forward over the next several months as we work towards finishing up this model, or that model, so to say. So what we're going to be doing today is basically getting caught up. I've gotten a lot of stages. I haven't, thankfully, experienced too many delays right now with this model. And so I have all the way up through stage 61. So let's go ahead and get moving forward. And to get moving forward, it's kind of like, I don't want to say benchmark or milestone. But we are moving into the second phase of the build. At stage 48, basically 48 and 49 is just parts that we start assembling in 50 and 51. We're just collecting parts, and so at stage 50, we start building the upper half of the hull after what we've already done in the beginning. So once we get to stage 50, we'll talk a little bit about the parts and the history of those parts, because we're going to be bringing back one of my very famous pieces from my most watched episode ever on my channel. So let's go ahead and get on to stage 50, which means we're going to open stages 48, 49 first. Let's go ahead and do some opening, shall we? All right, so as everything glints off the lights and all of that in the middle, shooting in the middle of the afternoon, here are stages 48 and 49, which, as you recall, we didn't do anything with as we were going through the last several episodes, because we've been working on getting our hull assembled and painted, and some of those stages are actually all about that as opposed to these actual parts. And so let's go ahead and get these open, and we're getting to the very first piece of the assembly jig. And I am not I am not going to forget to label these as we go along. So let's go ahead and open up the parts for stage 48. I have not opened them already, so let's go ahead and get them open. All right. So we have our frame sections here. We'll go ahead and get those set up aside. And then we have our hull panels, which we are actually also going to be setting aside, along with some parts that we haven't seen since the very beginning. Now, this is the same bag that I was storing all the hull panels in, and if you guys remember, I did remark recently that, oh, it's nice that we're going to stop collecting hull panels and all of that, and so here we go. And we have a couple of our 4-hole connectors here, and well, looks like a 1 4-hole and 1 2-hole connector for our radial ribs. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my Sharpie and write 48 on it as a reminder of what stage this came from. I will set that pen off to the side because we have another one coming up here in a second. So we have our piece, and I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side. And let's go ahead and get our frame sections out. And looks like they've already kind of been opened by time inside the package. Excellent. Let's go ahead and unpackage stage 49. And there's nothing here up top, so let's just go ahead and cut across the top here a little bit easier. We do have some plant-on details. There we go. Let's see what those are all about here in a second. I believe we're going to be setting these actually off to the side. All right, so these are for much later on in the build, so we'll go ahead and set these off to the side. There's going to be some of these sprues that we're going to be holding on to and setting off to the side until stage 100, which normally is pretty an easy stage for finishing up a part work. In this case, it's not. We're going to be doing a lot of plant-on detail work at the very end, which is actually kind of cool. Nice little way of finishing up the model with doing all the greebly work. All right, so we have our hull frames. Let's go ahead and set this off to the side for a second. And as I have found out, they basically, every 3 issues, provide you enough screws for the next 3 issues. Huh. Funny that. I did not know that. Well, thank you, Todd, for letting us know. And then we have some more of the 3-hole connectors. And then we have our 2 hull frame sections, including a section that we're going to be putting together in the next episode, which is going to allow us to be able to pop off the panel and take a look to see what that hull frame looks like. So let's go ahead and get this one opened up. And get those out. Set those off to the side. And we will see where we need everything. And then, for the namesake of the stage, stage 50, let's go ahead and get this opened up. There we are. Okay. Enough of the making noise. All right, to get our whole frame, our whole panel set off to the side. We have our frame sections, some more connectors, more 2-hole and 4-hole connectors there. So we'll set those off to the side over there. And then let's go ahead and write 50 on here. All right, perfect. And if I'm not mistaken, they fit in sequence together. So this one should fit just like that, but we're not going to do that right now, as it is very loud. All right. And let's get our frame sections pulled out. All right. So we have everything out. And for, as I was saying, a little bit of the history of this channel, this is the famous piece that wound up breaking when I was trying to install it way back in episode number 4, I believe. My most watched video was me breaking this part because of course YouTube loved that. Of course, I have since, it was probably about 4 or 5 months ago now, we got the replacement piece finally. And I'm glad I did because need it now. So we created this way back in stages like 1 and 2 and 3, something like that. 4 somewhere. I think the last time we worked on this was stage 4. So yeah, here we are. So let's go ahead and take a look at our instructions. go ahead and set aside our bag of hole panels until the next stage. And we are going to be assembling the top frames. So we're going to go ahead and set our hole panel or frames just like this. And then we're just going to go ahead and put them in order in the packages in which we receive them. So that's going to be 48, 49, and 50. So we're going to start with opening up some of our 2-hole connectors here. Don't know how many we're going to need of all these, so we're just going to go ahead and get them all out. These are going to be using button screws, so let's just go ahead and get all of these out. Get some into our little cup. Excellent. All right. Let's go ahead and grab just a couple here on the table. Get them ready to roll. We're going to go ahead and grab one of our 2-hole connectors. I find it's easiest to pre-thread the screw and then get it into the frame. But of course, when everything's magnetic, doesn't always work the way you expect it to. There we go. Just like that. As a reminder, you don't need to use 3-in-1 oil for this model, as all of our screw connections are pre-threaded. Excellent. Okay, let's put in place. Then we're going to go ahead and grab TF7, which is going to be this one right here. And we are going to go ahead and put it... Oh. Just like that. With this end hanging out over the end over that way. I'm going to grab a couple of button screws. It's actually probably easier to leave it on the table for once. It's kind of nice not working on a gigantic section of the hole, which is not going to be the case for much longer. I want to make sure that these screws go into place properly. But I've been told I don't need to be as gentle. The frame that I had that broke was very odd. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and grab one of our 4-hole connectors. Dump these out here. Excellent. And we're going to go ahead, grab a couple more of our blackhead screws here. We're going to need a few. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and grab our 4-hole connector here. We're going to go ahead and fix it into place right here. So, sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't. But you will figure your way into getting these put into place. There we go. Excellent. Now we're going to go ahead and grab TF8, which is going to be this one from stage 48. And we're going to go ahead and fix it into place, just like so, right here. So I'm going to start with the 2 down here at the end. Or excuse me, the 1 that's down here at the end of the center of the section. And then we're going to do the 2 there. Happen to have grabbed the right amount of screws for that, which is excellent. This is really cool. I'm actually excited about not building a gigantic portion of this model right now. I really do. I really am enjoying this. All right, so now we're going to look for TF4, which is going to be... Where are you? TF4. We're going to go ahead and grab a 2-hole connector, and we're going to put it into place right here. And right into place. Make sure it's sitting in there properly. There is a bit of an angle to this piece. All right. We're going to do the same thing to TF6, which is going to be this one right here. And we're going to be plugging that right in there. Let's go ahead and grab our screw through the hole. Into its spot. And screwed in place. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and grab TF10, which is going to be this piece. And it looks like we are going to be fixing it into place right here. Oh, cool. I'm going to start with one here in the middle, so we get it centered properly. There we are. Now I can let it go. Then I'm going to go to either end. Grab another screw. Get that connector lined up properly. There we go. And then grab one more. All right, excellent. And we're going to go ahead and grab a 2-hole connector. And we are going to connect it to the frame here on TF08 right there. So let's grab another screw. Get it through its hole. There we go. It's been a minute since I've done this. A little less smooth on the approach on some of those. I'm going to hold this in place. You know, leaving it a little loose is not the worst thing in the world, because then you can adjust it as you go along. Okay, perfect. Then we're going to go ahead and grab TF13. Which one are you? 12, and here is 13. And that's going to be from stage 50. And we're going to affix that into place, just like this. And then this is where the ring is going to come into play in the next episode. So what we're going to do, go ahead and grab one of our screws. We're going to connect it. Let's see if I can do this. Nope, this is going to be a little bit difficult piece. So hold it in place. No, don't do that. Do that. Okay, there we go. That one's tucked into place. Excellent. Kind of a little wobbly there at the end, but it's only connected into place with one screw. And we're going to go ahead and grab one of our 4-hole connectors here. And the rest of these out. Excellent. And we'll grab a 4-hole connector. And that one, make sure everything stays together here, is going to go into the end of TF13. So we're going to go 4-hole here, and then a 2-hole right there. Grab a couple screws. Out at the same time. Start with the 4-hole connector. Doesn't matter which one, you just get it into place and swing it around if you need to. In this case, I got it right the first time. And then we just make sure it sits in its proper spot. Hold it and tighten it down. Do the same thing with our 2-hole connector. we are. I'm not trying to put too much pressure on the model as well. Okay, excellent. Then we're going to go ahead and grab TF12, which is going to be this weird looking one. And we're going to go ahead and grab this and put it into place. How does it go? Not like that, but like that. Yes, yes. Okay, it's going to go into place just like that. So let's go ahead and grab our screw here. Line up our holes. Nope. Was a little far away, so I'm going to hold it like that. Huh. These wearers sure do hold their magnetic charge for quite a while. Great screwdrivers for part works, I have to say. Whereas we have whatever you want to do. The one that you get with the kit. But if you are looking to invest, some Whereas are good ones for building part works. I say. The bigger these pieces get, the more ungainly they get. There we are. And I realize this thing is swinging around a little bit because I haven't tightened these all the way down right here. There we go. All right. And we're going to go ahead and grab a 2-hole connector, and we're going to put that in place right there. We're going to go ahead and grab one of these. Get it into our 2-hole connector. Possibly, maybe, maybe, nope. Totally fail. Yes. My goodness. There we go. Okay, there we are. And then we're going to grab TF11 here, which has one of the connections for the mandibles up here, which is pretty cool. And that is going to fit into place. How does that go in? It's going to go in just... so we need to put our other 2-hole connector. Now I missed that step, yep. So we're going to put another 2-hole connector right there. There we go. That's going to set in just like that. Let's go ahead and grab one of our screws here. There we are. Another screw. Perfect. And there it is. Let's make sure everything's all nice and tightened into place now. Go through, check all the screws from the previous. Yep, need to tighten that down. Yep. Yeah, it's a good practice to go through and just check all your connections after you've gone through and done some work. Be thorough. It has stabilized this piece now. I'm just going through and checking some screws. And remember, as you tighten things in, other parts may loosen up and what have you. And then these parts have been sitting here for a while and moved around a little bit. And they're a little loose, I'm actually noticing. You're brave. Put a little bit of Loctite. No, don't. Shh, Jordan. If you are certain. All right, so there that is. And that completes stage 50. Excellent. And then here's a good reference point. And this is what I've been using for a good majority of the, at least, base colors. This is a great magazine. I'm going to have this permanently on my workstation until the model is done. So, set that off to the side. That completes stage 50. Let's move on to stage 51. All right, so here's stage 51. Let's go ahead and get it opened up. And much like the previous stages, we have a couple of whole frame sections, and they don't waste any time. Like I said, we're going to be getting the top of this hull assembled probably within the next 20 stages or so. They're giving us 2 at a time as opposed to 1 in the first 50 stages, which was kind of annoying. So get that off to the side. Have some more of our screws here and some 4-hole connectors. We have our hull panel and an empty package. So get all that thrown away. And let's go ahead and take a look at our instructions. We're going to set this whole panel off to the side with the rest. And I do recommend having a good storage solution for these models, as there's a lot of parts and it can get confusing after a period of time. So have a good storage solution. You should by this point. But if you don't, you should get one. All right, so much like the previous 4 stages, I guess, or the previous stage, we're just going to be taking a couple more parts and basically getting this assembled, moving over. No, I'm already confused. Moving over this way, but when we complete this stage, we'll actually have completed 1/3 of the top of the hull already. Once again, as I said, we're not going to be wasting any time. So let's go ahead and get our frames opened up. We also have ourselves a radial rib connector. Gross. I hate that phrase, but that's what it's called. Excellent. Radial stiffening rib. Ew. All right. There that is. Jordan, inappropriate. Okay. So now, let's go ahead and we are going to go and grab our frame. And TF11, which is this one right here, we're going to go ahead and grab one of our 2-hole connectors. Get that out. And we're going to go ahead and screw that in right here. And right here. So we have 2 of those we're going to be putting into place. Got a couple screws here. Wow. Managed to grab one that time. Thankfully, I've got a bunch of those screws because I just went flying. Wouldn't be one of my episodes. Oh my god. Jordan, slow down. All right. That put into place. Hey. Yeah. Try doing this. How's that? There we go. When I say there we go. There you go. There it is. Like I said, this is a little fiddly here. But you get a little ambidextrous building this model. Let's grab another screw. Have one right here. But, you know, what it is. I'm doing things. Stuffing things. Things and stuff. Excellent. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and grab TF14, which is going to be... This wouldn't be one of my episodes. Which is going to be this one, which is going to have the other connection to the mandibles. And we're going to go ahead and connect that up with 2 more button screws. We have one on the desk already. See if we can do this. One shot. Huh. There we go. Huh. I tried to be smooth, but hey, it's me. All right. There we go. That one's nice and put in place. Excellent. Then we're going to grab our last 2-hole connector, and that one's going to go into place right here. Grab another screw. Let's try and be a little bit more... Trying to remember how I was doing this before. There we go. Excellent. Then we're going to go ahead and grab TF15, and it is going to get put into place. Just like so. This is an interesting piece. All right, excellent. So I'm going to connect up here in this top corner. Our last 2 button screws at the same time. All right, our last screw for this portion of this. And we're going to be putting in a radial rib, I believe. God, that's such a gross phrase. I don't know why, but it is. All right, excellent. So, there we are. That is basically a third. Now, we are going to go ahead and grab our radial rib. And this one is a little bit different than some of the ones we have done before. This one is actually here to strengthen in between here because there's going to be other parts, and we also have our mandibles through here. So, very interesting on this little build here. We're going to go ahead and grab our brass screws, and these are the longer brass screws, which is for our radial ribs, our stiffening ribs. Stiffening. I'm such a child. Okay. So first things first, what we're going to go ahead and do is connect our 2 pieces together. So how we're going to do that is we are going to grab, there we are, wrong end here. We are going to, yes, there we go. Take our piece, and there's going to be one end that has screw the threading, and that's where you're going to thread into. So we're going to be switching that over there. Jordan, come on now, pay attention. Okay. So we're going to grab one of our brass screws, and you thread into the side that has the threading. So no threading on one end, threading on the other. So what I like to do for these is start with one, get it all the way into place, get your next one put in, and then you're going to put it in 2 over, okay? And that's going to be where the connection is made, and it allows for a little bit of flexibility for joining the 2 pieces. There we go. Then we go ahead and grab our other 2. I give you a spare here. Not always give it a spare, but sometimes you get one. Then tighten in the first one. And then go in for the last. There we are. Then I'm going to need to grab, as for, they're assuming that we have, I didn't throw a bunch of those screws away here. We need to grab some of our black button screws. So let's grab another packet. Go ahead and grab another package here out of my screw box. Let's get these out, and I'm going to need a few of these, so put them into the package because it's easier to dispense them into my holder. And then let's go ahead and just dump a couple out here on the table, as we're going to need those. Now what we're going to be doing is we are going to grab this and fit it into place. How does this one go? Perfect. So this one, the 2-hole at the top, goes like this. You have a 4-hole in the middle, and then you have a 2-hole down here at the bottom. Okay? So what we're going to do, start at the top, and I'm not going to fully tighten these all the way down, but just enough to get them into place. And I'm going to hit the other end. Get it lined up so the middle's easier to affix into place. Ah, no, I was one screw short. Ah, the story of my life. Excellent. Hmm. There we go. I see that pulling the frame in the middle there up towards the other one, which is great. I'm already feeling it getting a little tougher now. These ones here in the middle, I am securing all the way down upon screw in. Let's grab one more. There we are. Let's go ahead and get the first ones we screwed in all tightened down. Oop. And the first two. All right. So with that, my friends, that completes stages 51. Well, not stages 48 through 51. And we are already working on the top portion of the hull. And this normally probably would have been like probably 6, 7 stages or whatever. And instead we got it covered in 4. And really just 2 stages of assembly. So that's what I mean. We're going to be quickly going through and getting this built up real fast. And we'll be able to continue on with the painting. But that being said, being that we've moved on a little bit, we're also going to move forward just a little bit more as a reminder with the painting. So what we're going to be doing in the next episode is my favorite, decal work. We're going to be going ahead and dropping in all of the appropriate decals onto the Falcon, and then getting stage 56 taken care of, where we put all the remaining greeblies on, and then we'll go ahead and get our model clear coated and ready for weathering as we approach that portion of the build later on as we get towards the end of this model. So that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there was a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, and I think that's pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. Like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world wherever you happen to be. And just remember that the Force will be with you always.